All right, let's dive in today. We're taking a deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Ooh, a classic.
It is, and I think it's particularly fascinating given its historical context.
You mean being written during the Great Depression?
Exactly. When the world was in chaos, people were searching for answers, for hope.
Yeah, for a path forward.
And this book came along promising a roadmap to riches, to success. It really resonated with people.
And it continues to resonate with folks today. It's still incredibly relevant.
Totally. So, for our listeners who haven't read it yet, the book is essentially Hill's distillation of wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals.
He spent years interviewing these titans of industry, trying to uncover the secrets to their
And
achievements.
he claims that there is a secret, a magic formula for success that runs throughout the book, a formula entrusted to him by Andrew Carnegie himself.
Oh yeah, the steel magnate. Quite the endorsement.
So as we go through the key principles, let's see if we can crack this secret formula wide open.
Sounds like a challenge.
It is. Now, the first principle that Hill emphasizes is the importance of a burning desire.
He argues that this is the starting point for any great achievement. Without it, you're basically building castles in the sky.
He really drives this point home with the story of Edwin Barnes.
Oh yeah, the guy who was obsessed with working with Thomas Edison, not just for him.
Yes. And it's an incredible story. Barnes was a nobody, couldn't even afford the train fare to get to Edison.
But his desire was so intense, so unwavering, that he eventually found a way.
It's like he burned all his bridges, leaving himself no choice but to succeed.
He was absolutely committed. Which brings up a question for our listeners. What's your burning desire? What's that one thing you want more than anything else?
It's a powerful question to consider. But Hill doesn't stop at desire. He goes on to introduce the concept of faith.
Ah, yes. He calls it the eternal elixir, which fuels desire.
So it's not just about wanting something, but truly believing you can achieve it.
And this is where he introduces the principle of autosuggestion.
The idea of using affirmations, repeating positive statements to yourself to convince your subconscious mind that you can achieve your goal.
It sounds a little woo-woo, but there's actually a lot of scientific evidence to support the power of positive self-talk.
And Hill gives a very personal example of this with the story of his son. His son was born deaf.
A heartbreaking challenge for any parent to face.
But Hill refused to accept that his son would never hear or speak.
He had unwavering faith in his son's potential.
And he used the power of autosuggestion, constantly repeating positive affirmations about his son's ability to hear and speak.
And remarkably, against all odds, his son did eventually learn to hear and speak.
It's a truly inspiring story. It really highlights the idea that if you believe you can, you're already halfway there.
It's about harnessing the power of your mind to shape your reality.
Absolutely. But Hill doesn't just rely on faith and positive thinking. He also emphasizes the importance of acquiring specialized knowledge.
In other words, knowledge that's directly relevant to your goals. Not just random trivia, but knowledge that you can actually apply to achieve what you want.
And he challenges the conventional wisdom that formal education is the only path to success.
He uses examples like Henry Ford and Thomas Edison.
Both of them were incredibly successful despite having limited formal schooling.
They were self-taught in many ways. They sought out the knowledge they needed and applied it relentlessly.
And then, of course, there's the importance of organized planning. It's not enough to have knowledge, you need to organize it into actionable steps.
Hill tells this really interesting story about a woman who created a detailed plan book to help her son land a specific job.
She meticulously researched the company, the industry, even the competitors to showcase her son's skills and highlight his potential.
She was basically creating a marketing campaign for her son.
And it worked. Her son got the job, thanks to her carefully crafted plan.
It really highlights the importance of having a clear strategy. Without a plan, even the best ideas can get lost in the shuffle.
Absolutely. And speaking of brilliant minds, Hill introduces the concept of the mastermind principle.
This is the idea of surrounding yourself with a group of talented and supportive individuals who can help you achieve your goals.
He uses the example of Henry Ford, who was close friends with other brilliant minds like Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, and Luther Burbank.
It wasn't just a casual social circle, it was a deliberate alliance of brilliant minds.
They shared ideas, challenged each other, and provided invaluable support and perspectives.
It's a powerful reminder that we don't have to go it alone. Having the right people around you can make all the difference.
So who would you include in your mastermind alliance? Think about people who inspire you, people you admire, people who have achieved the kind of success you're striving for.
It's a great question to consider. Who can help you reach new heights? Who can challenge you to be your best self?
Now, while it's important to surround yourself with positive influences, Hill also acknowledges the internal obstacles we often face.
He calls them the six ghosts of fear.
These are the six basic fears that can hold us back from achieving our full potential: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
He doesn't say that we should never experience these fears. They're part of the human condition.
But he argues that we need to understand them, confront them, and refuse to let them control us.
He emphasizes that indecision is the breeding ground for fear. When we hesitate, doubt creeps in and fear takes root.
But when we make a clear decision, even a difficult one, we reclaim our power and can move forward with purpose.
It's about taking control, being proactive rather than reactive.
He even tells this fascinating story about interviewing a death row inmate.
Oh, wow. That's an intense situation.
The inmate knew his execution was imminent, yet he was incredibly calm as he enjoyed his last meal.
Talk about facing your fears head on.
It was a powerful illustration of acceptance and decisiveness in the face of the ultimate fear.
It really makes you think about what's truly important in life and how we can choose to face our fears rather than be paralyzed by them.
Exactly. And then Hill delves into one of the most intriguing and often misunderstood principles in the book: the power of sex transmutation.
This is where things get a little controversial.
It's important to clarify that Hill is not advocating for the suppression of sexual desire.
Exactly. It's not about denying your natural urges.
He's talking about channeling that powerful energy into creative pursuits.
Harnessing that drive and directing it towards your goals.
Think of it like this: sex is an incredibly potent force driven by intense desire and energy.
Right. And Hill suggests that we can tap into that same intensity and direct it towards anything we want to achieve.
So whether it's financial success, artistic creation, or anything else that ignites your passion, the key is to harness that raw power of desire and channel it toward a meaningful purpose.
It's about turning that primal energy into a force for good.
It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? This idea that we can harness our deepest desires and redirect them towards something productive and fulfilling.
It really challenges us to rethink how we view desire and how we can use it to fuel our ambitions. Yeah, it's like we can take that raw energy and transform it into something incredible. And Hill's book is full of examples of people who did just that, like the story of Arthur Nash, the Cincinnati tailor. You familiar with him?
Oh, absolutely. The Golden Rule Nash. He took a failing business and turned it into a thriving success.
And not just for himself, but for his employees as well. He shared his profits, created a truly ethical workplace.
A real testament to the power of these principles in action. I mean, he basically turned the company around using the secret formula Hill shared with him.
Right. And it wasn't just Nash. Hill writes about others who achieved remarkable success after learning these principles too. People like Stuart Austin Weir.
Weir. That name rings a bell.
He was struggling in his career, felt unfulfilled. But after hearing Hill's ideas, he completely switched gears and became a lawyer. A successful one at that.
Oh, right. I remember that story now. It's incredible how these principles seem to work across different fields and industries.
Exactly. It's not just about business or making money. Hill even talks about Jennings Randolph, who used these principles to become a successful politician, served in Congress even.
It's like a universal formula for success, applicable to any area of life. But at this point, I bet our listeners are dying to know, what exactly is this secret? Hill keeps hinting at it, but never fully reveals it.
Well, he believed the secret was most powerful when it was subtly unveiled. It's like he wanted people to really work for it, to dig deep and find the answer for themselves.
Sort of like the story of R.U. Darby, who famously stopped digging for gold just 3 feet from a rich vein.
Ugh, talk about frustrating.
Right. But he learned a valuable lesson from that experience: persistence, never giving up on your goals, even when you face setbacks.
Yeah, that seems to be a big part of the secret. It's not just about knowing the principles, it's about having the mindset and resilience to actually apply them.
To keep going, even when things get tough. Hill stresses that success demands action and persistence, a willingness to learn from your mistakes. It's not just about wishing and hoping.
He's big on that idea. You can't just sit back and wait for success to come to you. You have to go after it.
And he emphasizes that failure is inevitable along the way. It's not about avoiding failure, but about how you view it.
Right. Do you see it as a defeat or as an opportunity to learn and grow?
Hill even says that every failure carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage.
I love that. It's all about reframing those setbacks and turning them into stepping stones.
Okay, so we've got the mindset piece, the persistence, the action, but what about knowledge? Hill talks a lot about the importance of education, right?
Yes, but not in the traditional sense. He argues that education isn't just about accumulating facts and figures. It's about developing the ability to organize and use knowledge effectively.
He points out that many of the successful individuals he studied had limited formal schooling.
Yet they achieved incredible things because they knew how to acquire and apply the knowledge they needed.
It's a good reminder that learning is a lifelong pursuit. Formal education is just one piece of the puzzle.
What's crucial, according to Hill, is specialized knowledge. Knowledge that's directly relevant to your goals.
And then being able to put that knowledge into action to create a plan and execute it.
Exactly. Now, alongside specialized knowledge, Hill also dedicates a whole chapter to the power of imagination.
He calls it the workshop of the mind, where all plans and ideas are born.
And he makes a distinction between two types of imagination, synthetic and creative.
Okay, so synthetic imagination, what's that?
That's about taking existing ideas and combining them in new ways.
Like remixing, basically.
Yeah, kind of like taking building blocks and creating something new. It's the kind of imagination we use when we're solving problems or planning for the future.
Got it. And what about creative imagination? How's that different?
That's the more, I guess you'd say, out there kind of imagination. It's about tapping into a higher source of inspiration. It's where groundbreaking inventions and artistic masterpieces come from.
The truly original stuff.
Precisely. And Hill believes that anyone can develop their imaginative faculties through practice.
So it's not like some people are just born imaginative and others aren't.
Exactly. It's a skill you can cultivate. Hill suggests things like reading, listening to music, spending time in nature, anything that stimulates your mind and gets those creative juices flowing.
So it's like working out a muscle. The more you use your imagination, the stronger it gets.
That's a great analogy. And just like with physical exercise, it's important to use your imagination constructively. Focus on positive thoughts and images.
So dwelling on negative thoughts or fears can actually hinder our creative potential.
Exactly. You want to feed your mind with positive, inspiring input. And this leads us to one of Hill's more, shall we say, esoteric ideas. He talks about tapping into a sixth sense.
Ooh, this sounds intriguing.
He describes it as a higher form of intuition or insight. It's that aha moment, that flash of inspiration that seems to come out of nowhere.
Like when you're struggling with a problem and suddenly the solution just pops into your head?
Yes. He gives examples of people like the inventor Elmer R. Gates, who would literally sit for ideas.
Sit for ideas. What does that even mean?
He would spend hours in quiet contemplation, allowing his mind to wander and explore new possibilities. And that's how he came up with many of his inventions.
So it's not just about actively thinking, but about creating space for those intuitive insights to emerge.
Precisely. Hill suggests that this sixth sense is accessible to everyone, but it requires cultivating a state of mental receptivity. It's about silencing the chatter of the conscious mind and allowing the deeper wisdom of the subconscious to surface.
Okay, and how do we actually do that? Quiet our minds enough to tap into that subconscious wisdom.
Hill emphasizes the role of positive emotions in this process. He argues that the subconscious mind is more receptive to thoughts that are infused with emotions, particularly the positive emotions of faith, love, and enthusiasm.
So if we want to access those creative insights, we need to be in a positive emotional state.
It seems counterintuitive, but yes. It's about aligning our thoughts, feelings, and actions toward our goals. And this is where the principle of sex transmutation comes back into play.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Hill suggests that by consciously redirecting that sexual energy into creative outlets, we can amplify our mental powers and unlock a higher level of creative potential.
So it's not just about redirecting that energy, it's about using it to supercharge our creativity.
That's the idea. And of course, Hill also stresses the importance of the mastermind in all of this.
Right, surrounding yourself with the right people.
Exactly. Having a supportive network of like-minded individuals can provide invaluable guidance and encouragement, especially when you're trying to tap into your creative potential or navigate those challenging moments of doubt and fear.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to go it alone.
Absolutely. We can achieve so much more when we collaborate, share ideas, and support each other. So we've explored quite a bit here, haven't we? From desire and faith to imagination and the sixth sense.
It's been a whirlwind of ideas and concepts. But Hill doesn't just throw these principles at us and say, good luck. He actually provides concrete steps and exercises to help us apply them in our lives.
Right. He challenges us to clearly define our goals, to create a detailed plan of action, and then to commit to following through with persistent effort.
He emphasizes that success is not a matter of chance or luck. It's the result of deliberate, focused action.
You have to be intentional about it,
Yeah.
and you have to believe in yourself, in your ability to achieve those goals.
He's like a coach guiding us every step of the way. And that's what makes Think and Grow Rich so empowering, right? It gives you the sense that you have the tools to create your own success. It's not
Yeah.
some mystical secret reserved for a select few.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the potential that exists within each of us, the power we have to shape our own destinies. And it's not just about material wealth either,
Right. It's about living a fulfilling life, achieving your goals, whatever those goals may be.
whether it's financial success, creative expression, personal growth, or making a difference in the world. It's about aligning your life with your deepest desires and values.
But as inspiring as all this is, Hill also acknowledges that it's not always easy. There will be obstacles, internal and external.
Those voices of doubt and fear that can creep in and sabotage our efforts.
Which is why he dedicates a whole chapter to those 6 ghosts of fear. He names them explicitly: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
These are universal fears, things that everyone experiences at some point in their lives.
And he doesn't suggest we try to avoid them or pretend they don't exist.
No, he actually encourages us to confront them head on, to understand them, analyze them, and develop strategies for overcoming them.
So it's not about becoming fearless. It's about learning to manage fear and prevent it from paralyzing us.
Exactly. It's about realizing that fear is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control us.
He offers some practical advice for dealing with these fears, too. He emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, of really understanding your own motivations and fears.
He even suggests a regular practice of self-analysis, asking yourself tough questions about your habits and beliefs.
Like, where do these fears come from? What are the underlying beliefs that are fueling them?
It's about getting really honest with yourself, identifying those patterns of thought and behavior that might be holding you back.
He even includes a list of questions at the end of the chapter on fear, prompting readers to do some serious introspection.
He's not messing around. He really wants us to dig deep and do the inner work.
And he reminds us that this is an ongoing process. Personal growth and self-mastery aren't destinations, they're journeys.
It's about continuous learning, adaptation, and refinement.
Always striving to become the best version of yourself. But, we don't have to do this alone.
Right, that's where the mastermind comes in.
Surrounding yourself with a supportive network of like-minded individuals can make all the difference.
Those people who believe in you, who challenge you to grow, who offer guidance and encouragement when you need it most.
So we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We've explored some pretty profound concepts and practical strategies for achieving success in all areas of life.
From the importance of burning desire and faith to the power of specialized knowledge, organized planning, and the mastermind.
We even delved into the fascinating, if somewhat controversial, concept of sex transmutation. And we faced those 6 ghosts of fear head on, learning how to turn those fears into fuel for our ambitions.
But perhaps the biggest takeaway from all of this is that success is not an accident.
It's not something that just happens to a lucky few. It's the result of deliberate effort, of understanding and applying certain principles, and of cultivating a mindset that attracts success.
It's about taking ownership of your journey and making conscious choices that align with your goals.
Hill provides us with a roadmap, a set of tools and strategies that anyone can use to achieve their dreams.
And he reminds us that we all have the power within us to create the life we desire. We just need to tap into that power and use it wisely.
So, as you continue to explore the wisdom found in Think and Grow Rich, ask yourself this: what one action will you take today to move closer to your dreams?
It doesn't have to be a huge, life-altering action. Even a small step in the right direction can make a difference.
The important thing is to keep moving forward, to maintain momentum, and to never give up on your vision.
Remember, the power to achieve your goals lies within you. You just need to believe in yourself and take action.
And that's it for our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep thinking big, keep believing in yourself, and keep taking action.